This program is brought to you by the Media Liberty Alliance Foundation in cooperation with OBBM Network TV, bringing citizen-led, creative local media to the forefront of local communities to foster a greater understanding of constitutional liberty and appreciation of what makes us truly free, starting with you and me.
Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're updated each time fresh content comes out. And thank you for being part of the Zach Ratliff Show.
The Zach Ratliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial and Texarkana, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org.
Okay, now try one more count down 3, 2, 1, and then do it all.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, 3, 2,
3, 2, 1. The Zach Ratliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org.
Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for being a part of the show and being a part of the growth of the show. And I'm really watching it and enjoying it happen. And thank God for all of it. Thank God for all of you, and thank God for the greatest country that He's ever put on the face of this earth. And more than that, thank Him for salvation through Jesus. Okay, before I get into everything, as we're coming into the Christmas season, do you all remember? I know most of you do, but we can put it out of our mind. How we can't say Christmas, we have to say holiday, and you don't wish people a Merry Christmas, and all of that push from the last decade. Well, did you hear what our president said last night at the National Christmas Tree lighting? This partly because I got some new toys, but I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll talk about it. So let me play this, and we'll be back.
During this holy season, Christians everywhere rejoice at the miracle in Bethlehem more than 2,000 years ago, when the Son of God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, came down from heaven to be with us. And you're right. Full of grace and truth, He brought the gift of God's love into the world and the promise of salvation for every person and every nation. And we just settled another war today.
So there's Donald Trump talking about not only Jesus being real, which there's more evidence of Jesus than of Julius Caesar, than of, definitely Socrates. I mean, there's more manuscripts that attest to the reality of Jesus, the person. He's one of the most well-documented, if not the most well-documented, Genghis Khan, in history. Especially that time period history. So we 100% know he was real. It's the divinity that some people question. I'm not one of those. But here's the president of the United States saying, hey, He came down from heaven. He acknowledges this isn't a holiday. You can say Christmas, and more so, here's what Christmas means: the Mass of Christ. Thank God for the turnaround in this country. It's our job to let it continue. It's our job to keep talking about it, no matter if they call you a homophobe, no matter if they call you a bigot, no matter if you're a racist, or if they call you a racist. Right? It's our job to talk about it. We can't give in. Look at the strike, and you see all this, all of these things from where Donald Trump, he's not moving fast enough. He's not doing this. Man, he's having to turn this whole thing around. There's so much he's having to do. that we have to. There just has to be time now, and I've got some articles in here. We'll get to these cowardly Republicans and what they're trying to do. Luckily, I think the states are going to be able to counter this. But anyway, I just wanted to start with that. We have hope in Jesus, and our president acknowledges it. And that's the biggest cultural win in a long, long time. And I'm so excited by it. All right, let's get on with it. Let's go. Let's see what we can get into today. This is from Gunther Eagleman on Fox. Well, it was on Fox Network, but on the clip is from Fox Network. Gunther Eagleman has this article on X.com. Says huge. Ford CEO just said it out loud. Thanks to Trump killing Biden's insane regulations, we can finally build cheaper cars in America. With them doing away with all these regulations and just the punishment they're putting on the auto manufacturers, car prices are about to get cheaper. Good. Now, does this create a bubble for everybody that paid way too much? Maybe. So we're going to have to see what that does. But good. Things need, if vehicles get more expensive, if fuel comes down, groceries come down, and it's like in the movie Chuck and Larry, it's a circle. It goes on forever. That's the way it works. So I'm glad to see that. I'm glad that's a real, that's a real thing. All right, let's go on to MJ Truth Ultra on X.com. It has bombshell. Of course, everything says something like that. Kash Patel, the FBI has known the J6 pipe bomber's identity for 5 years, thanks to their cellular analysis survey team. But the old FBI regime, buried it. They hid the pipe bomber's identity while hunting grandmas who walked through the Capitol. That's exactly right. It didn't. Young black guy didn't fit the redneck MAGA person that they wanted you to believe it was. So they just buried it. We have been, our government, look, they've been trying to overthrow this thing since Obama was leaving. I'm glad we're finally waking up to it. And the Democrats are going to do everything they can to distract us, and some of the Republicans. Right, because it's a ruling class. A lot of this is uniparty. It doesn't have to do with just Democrats or just Republicans at this point. It's everybody. The ruling class is against us, and that's what we have to understand. But the people are speaking. And this is another Gunther Eagleman article here on X. Then it shows this clip from Fox News on down in New Orleans. And they sent, the immigration people down there to crack down on it. And they're not fighting them. The citizens, they're taking pictures and treating the immigration folks like heroes. Like, thank you for cleaning up our streets. This is what real America wants. This is where we're supposed to be. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's just, it's neat to see all of this finally coming into where it should. We just have to let it happen. We have to have backbone enough to stick with it. That's the problem. We get bored or we get uninterested and we lose focus. Let's just don't lose focus. And look, I get it. I mean, it's easier to say than to do, but we have to stay focused. And the focus is saving our country for our kids, for our grandkids. And truly, if you're of the Christian mindset and that you believe in the Great Commission to carry Jesus's message throughout the world, the United States has done a great job of that. Without it, that fails. It doesn't fail because it's the message of God. Someone else will pick up the mantle. But right now we're the 5th largest mission field in the world. in the continental United States. We're supposed to be taking the message of Christ out. We can't do that if we've been taken over. All right, this is another one from MJ Truth Ultra on X. It says, starting next week, 21 Democrat-controlled states will lose their federal SNAP funding for refusing to comply with USDA anti-fraud data requirements. What? Yeah, that's right. They're not turning over their voter rolls. They're not doing this. It says in these states, MJ Truth Ultra says, in these states that did comply, which are conservative states, they found 186,000 dead people, Social Security numbers that are being used. 500,000 people with benefits received more than once. Received benefits more than twice. Multiple people received benefits in 6 states. 29 red states have turned over their rolls. 21 blue states. Because if we, and I had this conversation this morning, and this wasn't my thought really, it was given to me, but I agree with it, so I'm going to repeat it. If the Democrats have to show how fraudulent their numbers are in these blue states, it's that many more Republican seats. They can't afford for us to realize that they don't have all these people. All these people aren't citizens. This isn't real. It's theft. And here's the thing. If they don't get this money, these Democrat states can't hold themselves up. Where Texas, has, the fund for money that we haven't spent, right? And we try to operate at least within a budget. We may not like the budget. These blue states, they can't do that. They're spending so much money, but it's money they're taking from me and you. It's money they're taking out of our check and they're giving to everybody. Why is that okay? Why can they take our money and then give it like they're doing up in Minnesota and then give it to these illegals that are voting against us? What, illegals voting? Yeah, that's right. We're propping up the blue states, and if they turn over these reports, everyone will see. So anyway, they're about to lose SNAP benefits over it. Here are the states. So as of next week, we have begun and will begin to stop moving federal funds into the states until they comply. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, Washington. Those are all the states that will not turn over their reports. Those are all the states that are hiding something. You don't have to turn them over. Don't. But we're not gonna give you SNAP benefits anymore. We're not gonna play the game. You remember it was years ago. And I don't even know if I was alive or if I was. I'm not young enough to remember when it was. When the drinking age turned to 21 in Louisiana, wouldn't do theirs, right? They're like, we're staying 18, baby. It's Louisiana. Side note, for those of you that aren't from around here, Louisiana is not that far from here. And you can drive through, and some restaurants around here you can too now. But, it was always a big deal. You could drive through. They have drive-through daiquiri stores. They put a piece of tape over the straw hole and hand you the cup and then hand you a straw. I'm like, hey, don't drink and drive. And you just go on about your way and you wait till you get home to drink it. And then, of course, in Texas now you can do that too. Go through your local Mexican establishment at the drive-through window, order you a margarita, and they'll hand you a lid and a straw. Don't drink and drive. Be safe. Anyway, that's freedom, baby. You're also free to go to jail if you violate the law. So just don't do that. But they withheld the funds from them until they adjusted their drinking age back up to where the federal government wanted it. They didn't have to, but if they wanted those federal dollars, they had to. So I think that's pretty important, and especially for the blue states. All right, let's move on. Golly, this is KAG Drago at X.com. It says in 2006, Lou Dobbs reported Smartmatic voting machines were managed by Venezuela. Sidney Powell, which we all heard after the 2020 election, has been saying this since 2020. This KAG Drago goes on to say a Venezuelan military intelligence whistleblower just confirmed the CIA outsources this election rigging technology from Venezuela. I mean, and I've seen this reported other words. I'm interested to see all the details about this. I don't know exactly how all that works, but there's something larger at play here than drugs. It's the China, the Russia connection, the database, the Smartmatic databases are in play. I don't know. And look, they don't invite me to the meetings either. Right? They don't call me like, hey, Zach, let us patch you in, Bill, my friend, there's something strange afoot at the Circle K, to quote one of my favorite movies. So, or maybe it's Ted, my friend. Either way, it's been a while since I've seen it. We just have to hold them accountable, our elected officials, expect them to do what we want them to do. That's the key part. Expect them to be where we want them to be. And then let them do their job. Okay, so here's this from SCOTUSblog.com, the Supreme Court of the United States blog.com. Supreme Court allows Texas to use the redistricting map challenged as racially discriminatory, which it's not. The old one was. Look at how all the blue states are cut up. So here's the deal. This is going to gain Texas, some states, some seats. It's going to gain a bunch. It has the potential to, maybe I should say, to gain a bunch of Republican seats. Well, that's good because these coward Republicans are quitting the Senate left. The United States House of Representatives left and right. I think we're up to like 46 that are retiring early or not going to seek re-election because this is what happened in Trump's first election. We got to the 2-year mark and they all quit so that we couldn't hold the House because the Uniparty doesn't want him to be successful. They cannot risk losing control. So these quote unquote Republicans, these cowards, these backstabbers, they won't say they're Democrats, which they are, but then they just quit. They just retire. Marjorie Taylor Greene, prime example. Oh, I can't get my way. I would rather throw the whole country down the drain than do what Donald Trump wants me to do. Also, I'm going to wait to my 5-year mark so I make $175,000 a year for the rest of my life. Also, a lot of them go from $500,000 in net worth to $50 million in net worth or whatever it is. But don't worry, Donald Trump is the problem. The guy that's losing money. Dan Bongino's the problem. The guy who's losing money by taking the job. Pete Hegseth, the guy who's losing a $2 million a year contract. He's the problem. These cowards run and hide because they will not do the will of the people. Well, it's just... It's like when you hear, this might be a bad example. I'm going to go with it though. When, the old joke kind of is, when your pastor's leaving your church, well, God called me to another church. Well, with enough money, he can call you back to this one. God, that's what these representatives, well, God's calling me to do something else. Not that I limit God, because I do not. And I do believe he can call you to do things. But golly, that's an easy answer. Well, I just don't feel like this is where I need to be anymore. Well, you knew your term was 2 years last time. But now you got your little feelings hurt, and the Uniparty's like, hey, man, you got to go so that we can maintain control. If you don't think that's how politics works, you need to wake up. Whenever someone retires in politics, there is already someone waiting. The power, and it doesn't matter on what level, city level, county level, state level, federal level. Even at your, how many of you work at a place where it's like, okay, we're gonna, so and so's leaving, they got promoted or they retired or whatever, and that position is going to be opened up. Oh, okay, I want that. Okay, good. Well, we have to open it up to the public for 7 days. So we'll open it up. You go ahead and put your application in, your resume in, and then once it closes, we'll do the interviews. As long as nothing crazy happens, then we'll get you into the position. If you haven't ever had that conversation, it's because you've never been in a. I've had that conversation, I don't know how many times. Through banking, through managing big box retail. Okay, you want this position. Legally, I have to open it up to interview. I have to take the best applicant, and I will. But we know it's yours as long as someone doesn't come out of the woodwork and apply randomly. Right? So if it happens in the corporate world, it happens in the federal world. It happens in the state world. It happens in the county world. It happens in the city world. You can't tell me that somebody hadn't gone to these representatives and been like, hey, we need you to retire to stop this agenda. We need you to put the kibosh on it. But once you do, you're going to have to take some time off. We'll bring you back as a whatever network contributor. We probably got enough people that can buy some books from Amazon. We'll get you a pretty good book deal, and the publisher won't go broke. We can get you a consulting term. We can make, probably a good lobbyist needed. But we just don't need you where you are. And we understand that you'll look bad if you vote against him. So we just need you to retire, and don't worry about what's going to happen. It's going to be for the better long term of the country that Donald Trump and his team just can't see, and so we have to go around it. That's what is happening. That's exactly what is happening. Once again, they don't invite me to the meetings, but thank God I was given parents that taught me how to think critically. Because that all makes sense. That's exactly what they do, because I've seen it done time and time again and have been a part of that machine in the corporate world. I 100% know that happens because I 100% have been a part of that conversation many times. And on the political side, when in 2020, when I threw my name in the hat to run for U.S. representative of our district here, the guy who won it, decent guy, came up to me and goes, hey, I just want you to know that was a great speech you gave, but I already had this thing wrapped up when I got here. This is already done. And it was the way he said it was. And I don't know why I was too naive to see it, because I knew from the corporate world that it was there. I looked at politics, even though I knew it was dirty. I looked at it through rose-colored glasses. They don't do this on the election. Well, side note, baby, they do. In every aspect. If your party chairs, right? Your precinct chairs, there's always somebody. So, well, if this person steps out, we can get this person. Now, understand that has to happen. You have to have a plan. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying we can't be naive to the fact that it happens in every aspect. We can't be naive to the fact that when these 46 Republicans are leaving the U.S. House of Representatives, they've been told to do so, and they've been told they'll be taken care of, and it's all to put a stop to Donald Trump's agenda. And they will tell you straight-faced with a smile that it's not. I'm just ready to see my grandkids. I'm just ready to go be with my daughter. You were a crappy parent and grandparent anyway. No, you weren't. How much time did you have them in D.C.? How much time did you spend in your home district? That probably doesn't add up. It's all about power. It's always about power. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we have to realize. Here's this from Jim Ferguson on X.com. Stephen Miller just said the quiet part out loud. The cartels, not the Mexican government, control the southern border. What? Who would have guessed? And maybe for people that don't live in Texas, or even, up here in North Texas, you don't hear it as much, but it's known. It is known. It's known that if you go into Mexico, you better have some cash on you. And for whoever's going to stop you that's holding a gun, whether they be the federales or whether whoever that is, you're going to need to hand them a couple $100. And they're going to get on that walkie-talkie and tell whoever's next down the road that you're good to go. That's the way it works. It's all about power, and it's all about money. And if you don't think the cartels are on the border, you have missed everything that's happened. This is what we're fighting against, all of this in every way. We just have to be aware of it. And we just have to be aware of it. The Senate did confirm, just filed to confirm 97 Trump nominees all at once. Good. We need this. This is to the courts. Well, let me just see what else we've got. ICE arrest a ISIS terrorist here in country. Yeah, of course. Once again, this is what we're against. And before we get out of here, let me just tell you there's hope. And I opened it with this. And I'll close it with this, I guess. There is hope in our country. His name is Jesus. That's what this is about. That's what this whole season's about. That's what it's about. So I'm going to play it one more time, and then I'll be back. But that's what this whole season is about. Is Jesus, and that's our hope. So don't be dismayed. Right now, don't be dismayed by all that's going on.
Holy season, Christians everywhere rejoice at the miracle in Bethlehem more than 2,000 years ago, when the Son of God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, came down from heaven to be with us. Savior. You're right. Full of grace and truth, he brought the gift of God's love into the world and the promise of salvation for every person and every nation.
There you go. The promise of salvation of every person and every nation. That's our president. And I know I started with that. That's our hope, ladies and gentlemen. That's our hope. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope God blesses each and every one of you. And good Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back and we'll do it all again on Monday.